Hey, welcome back to the Right Club. This is Professor Draco. Today is Black Friday, the day after Turkey Day, 25 November 2011. Topics for today are how to get out of writer's block, and then also how to conclude your story. I have 5 minutes to do this. I have no ability to edit because I'm doing this on my phone. I'm out of town for the holidays with some family, so we're going to get going. About writer's block. Whenever you're in writer's block, like B.B. Genius had said, he doesn't believe writer's block is a real thing, which, I don't know, it depends on the person. You know, we're allowed to have different opinions. I think that some people do go through a period whenever they're blocked and they just can't think of what to write. However, I do agree that whenever you are feeling as though you're in writer's block, you should write. Now, whether you just start with some word, open up the dictionary and pick a word and say, how can I use this word in a sentence? Or just write it and then start writing more words. Write random words. And just go for it from there and get yourself out. You can also push yourself away from your computer or your pen and paper, whatever you choose to write with. Go out for a walk, clear your head, go out and do something else, and stop thinking about writing for a little while, and maybe you'll get inspired about something else. That's my youngest daughter. She's screaming, but she's okay. That's not a her scream. I know. But to get away from writer's block, there's a couple things that you can do there. You can read someone else's writing and see how they word things. See how they like to work. Read the jacket of a book and see how they do. You can look at some silly things. Look some things up online. Watch some YouTube videos, but not too many because that will distract you. And then before you know it, a whole hour will be gone if you lost an hour of time that you could be potentially writing. Even if it is bad writing, it is still a progressive writing. Because the more you write, the more practice you get, and the better you'll become eventually. You may not see it immediately, but later on down the road, you will find out what works for you whenever you're having a hard time figuring out what comes next. Sometimes if you're writing a story, you may have to skip a scene and go to the end. So whenever, you may not have to go to the end all the time, but you can go on to the next scene that you know what you want to happen or kind of where it goes. Sometimes you have to go to the end to find out how to get there from the beginning. It sounds a little bit backwards, but it works for some people. And then let's go on to the second topic about concluding your story. I wrote a book last year for NaNo called The Stalkers Club, and it was about 84,000 words or so. So for that, to conclude, I had a hard time kind of leading up to it. I didn't know exactly how I wanted to do that, but I've seen a lot and I've heard that it's good to tie into the beginning of the story. Some little aspect, it may not be a major thing to begin with, but it leads up, and in the end you can bring it back and have that be part of the conclusion. Kind of ties the whole thing together and wraps it up, and then there you go. So I am going to have this be a shorter video. It's about 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and my little one just came into the room. Hold on, you. Alright. So, concluding the story, there are a lot of different ways to conclude a story. You can have it be a tragic, or you can have it be a success story. It depends on what you want to accomplish with your story. If you have an objective, do you want it to be strictly for educational purposes? Do you want it to be just for entertainment purposes? Do you have some underlying things? And then you don't have to worry about it being good, especially with NaNo. You just want to get it done and over with. Get all those words down out of your head. Make sure it's at least 50,000 if you care about winning NaNo. And you get your little banner and everything, so you can just say that I won, I did it, I can accomplish this. But you can go back later in revision and then tie a lot of things in. And usually that's where a lot of things popped up, especially for John Green. He talks about this, where in revision is when a lot of things come out of his book. Some of the most interesting things, as even with, in the book I'm reading of his right now, Looking for Alaska, the last words of dead presidents or dead people, that came about in revision. So there you go. Some of the things, don't worry about it all right now. Revision will bring a lot of it out. I'm going to cut this down. I'm about 4:45. I will see you next week.